Hey, it's Midnight Raven. Today we're looking at the Jameson family tragedy part 2. If you haven't seen part 1, you should definitely go check it out as it gives you some interesting details into the case. This case is heartbreaking as well as interesting, where a family were going on a road trip and they were later found deceased. So, many questions remain unanswered. So, they had been telling people that they thought that their house was being haunted by a evil spirit slash ghost, and they were going to perform a satanic ritual to cleanse their house and possibly themselves. They had been packing their car to go away on a road trip, and when they disappeared, the police would be looking for their alive or dead bodies. It took 4 years for a deer hunter to find their skeletal remains, and many unanswered questions we're going to look at today. So this is the Jameson family tragedy, and let's get right on into this case. So, Bobby Jameson was estranged from his father. He was the father who went missing along with his wife and his child. So Bobby Jameson was estranged from his father, and after a dispute about the sale of a petrol station, Bobby believed he was entitled to half of the proceeds of the sale and had sued him for compensation. Bobby Dean, the father, had allegedly threatened twice to kill his son and his family 6 months before their family would be found dead. Bobby Dean had links reportedly to the Mexican mafia, and Bobby Dean claimed he was ill in hospital at the time of their family's death, and his alibi was confirmed, although he could have hired a hitman to commit the murders. He didn't necessarily have to kill them himself. Many people have hired hitmen over time because they think it distances themselves from the crime, but 9 out of 10 times a hired hitman will get caught and rat the person out. So, aside from the fact that his own dad could have killed him and his family, another suspect was a handyman and family friend called Kenneth Bellows. Now, Kenneth had rented a room with the Jameson family. They had an extra room and they had rented it out. The relationship between him and the family, when Bellows had made some racist comments and remarks, Bobby's wife had Native American heritage, and Bobby had then threatened him and thrown him out of the property at gunpoint. Kenneth had an alibi for the day the Jamesons went missing, but could he hold a grudge due to being made homeless? It is possible. Worse things have happened to people who have been thrown out of a house, but could they go on to murder somebody? In the back of the truck, there was found £25,000 of cash, as I will have told you in part 1. Now, why was the cash there but the family had gone? It obviously wasn't a robbery, because if you were going to rob a truck, why would you not take the cash? If it had been a drug deal, then there would have been drugs in the car and the money would still have been gone. At the minute, there was no explanation for £25,000 of cash to be in the van, but the family to be missing. So, many theories would rise to this case, including it possibly being a drug dealing. But with the money still being there, what drug dealer would not take the money? Some of the neighbours were questioned, and some of the neighbours had said that they believed the couple were users of crystal meth, and then it may have been a drug deal gone wrong. But once again, we're back to the fact that why wouldn't a drug deal take the £25,000? Have you ever seen a drug dealer who would just leave massive amounts of cash behind and take the family? Why wouldn't you take the cash? So police found no proof of these claims that they were drug hoarders or drug dealers. Their house was searched and nothing was found. So one final avenue of interest at this point for the crime was a murderous suicide. Had the family visited the plot of land which they were viewing to possibly buy, hence the £25,000 deposit maybe, They'd asked the estate agents not to join them when they went to look at the plot of land. Some people believe that they went up there to perform this satanic ritualistic cleansing to get rid of the evil demon that they had been talking about at church that was supposedly haunting them. Was it possible this was a murder-suicide to expel the demon from them by killing themselves? It sounds bleak, doesn't it? So the bodies, when the police found them, seemed to have been placed in a ritual way. They were laying side by side. Um, it seemed a bit too perfect. The thing is, when you try to kill yourself, you're not going to land properly, especially if you shoot yourself or whatever. It seemed too much of a what they call a perfect death. So, could the family have simply got lost in the wilderness and succumbed to the elements? It is possible they succumbed to the heat out there. With the dog dying of hunger and dehydration, a family lost could suffer the same fate. But we're nearly a decade after the bodies being discovered in a triple grave. The answers to why they died, or how they died, or who killed them remain unanswered. These are questions that till this day make this case still an open case. How is it possible that a husband, wife, and a small child would go to look at a plot of land to buy and apparently die in a ritualistic murder-suicide to expel a demon from their bodies or from their house because they thought they were being taunted and haunted by an evil spirit? What was the £25,000 cash for? Was it really for the deposit on the land? Were they really going up there to take their own lives? Were they really going up there for what people class as a supposed drug deal, although there's no evidence they took drugs? Many, many unanswered questions in this case. Until this day, the Jameson family tragedy remains a mystery. A whole family lost their lives, and no one can tell us who, what, why, or even when they died. We have a window of opportunity, but with the fact that their bodies were decomposed so much, it is hard to tell when they died or even how they died. So if you want to see more cases like this was the Jameson family tragedy. This is part 2. Remember, if you haven't seen part 1, go watch it to hear the first part of the information that lays out the backstory to this case. If you want to see more from me, this is True Crime with Raven. This is a new series on my channel. If you have any tips, information, or cases you would like me to research, let me know down below. I'm always open to a new case. If you want to see more from me, click that notification bell. I do load videos every day on a variety of subjects, including cold cases, missing people, and much, much more. I'm the Midnight Raven. Thank you for watching this case, and I will see you very soon for another true crime case with Raven. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.